Hi guys, this is going to be a video about spirits, and I just wanted to start off by saying that anyone is welcome to study along, and anyone is welcome to join my channel. I'm not one to go and attack people for their beliefs and how they believe, but I do teach from a Christian standpoint, but I teach on all three levels. And I try to teach from a level that is from milk, bread to meat. I try to put everything out there without going too deep so that it's not overwhelming. And a lot of you guys that teach know what I'm talking about. It's the art of putting everything together, to put it out there, to be able to reach a wide spectrum of people, to bring understanding. A lot of people want to know why we're here, and I have some other videos that point towards that. The second question was that we're here, how are we held here? And that question is kind of answered as simple as heaven being a positive state, the dimensions being in between, and we're in a negative sense, and we are both positive and negative. So they're like upon death, all souls return to God. You return back to your maker, your creator. So your negative drops off because flesh and blood, earthly things, carnal, can't enter into the kingdom, so you're pulled back. So as we're here in this positive negative, we're kind of held here. Inside us is a desire to return to the spiritual heaven, where our bodies, like, through hope from this barrier between us, it's like it's immensity of the infinite. And I explained and I touched on this a little bit, like this. If we're over here and we've got this positive negative bank that I've talked about, that your actions and what you're doing, you're putting in a positive or negative response. At the same time, you're burning images into this matrix, and you create spirits, and there are spirits that are already here, and heaven being the positive realm. So we have this separation here, you guys, okay? And just like I talked about when in my other videos, like the negative in the world, when it bumps, like these scrolls, that's a scroll rolling up right there. When it bumps, it's going to jump back, okay? And then it's going to come back together, and then it's going to merge. And this is this temptation time that we're at, and it hasn't bumped yet, okay? We got the positive and the negative side, and this is the dimensions, and everything is dots. That's how it's simple to understand. Everything is on a vibration, and everything had to be put out from one source, from one vibration, and what was that? One creator. And we're in the last of these 12 rounds. Okay, it started in 1948, was the last benchmark. Just like you got the 12 rounds, and some people will say the 12 portals and different aspects. But the point that we're here is this positive and negative. See, you must overcome. We can't escape our test, guys. Time just runs out, literally. Like over here, okay? So we're held here by this immensity of the infinite. And that dulls our awareness because we got this desire to return. We've got this little bit, everyone's got that little piece of heaven left in them that gives them a certain attachment to that positive place. It's like you've been in a total spiritual realm of positivity to where your soul will always long for that. Okay? And when it dulls your awareness of that, what was in the past, but you still got that little piece, what happened before does supply the desire to return, okay? But it dampers the odds, and the question is, which path are you choosing? And there's moments when people are like in deep spiritual moments, and they gladly die or sacrifice their flesh to see God, or like there's a lot of people that don't believe there's a creator or anything, and I've personally seen one person, and I've heard many others, like I'm sure you guys have. It's funny to see, no matter how people believe, when they're on their deathbed or their life's threatened, they'll say, God. And that could be someone that is a total God hater, that is a total a self God, and your spirit steps out. So in that way, I hope that gave some understanding. And like some people say, mysticism or spiritual things. That's a strong right brain experience. Okay, we got this balance, and I've got what we'll talk about here. But what I'm going to explain to you about the mysticism, the spiritual things. It's heavy right brain, right? We need the balance, okay? And for this reason, it must be balanced by rationality, okay, which is the left brain. And you can look at, like, just as an example, in Christianity and in a religion, look also with false prophets and people. Look how many people lost it and went crazy because they didn't have the balance. Look how many people said that they heard from God or heard from someone, and then they lost it and they went nuts because they lost their balance. Okay, so we got to keep a rational balance of spiritual and rational, and then you got to understand what is rational. Well, rational would be harmony, strong, and to not surrender in that sense, but to be humbled. Okay, and it's patience always, and it's ego and constant resistance, because remember, Satan fell by pride. So when we set out in anything, doing anything spiritual, no matter what the balance is, you trip yourself up from the beginning, and then you go all the way out, and you say, well, what am I doing wrong? It don't matter if it's positive or negative, guys. This applies to everything, to anybody. And you tripped yourself up from the beginning, because it goes to this. You'll go through all that and trying to fix things and change things and coordinate here and there. And in the end, you're like, I don't know. So you'll try different things. It was in the beginning. It's what you set out to do. What was the reason you set out to do it? What were you doing? Whose spirit were you in? So you see, it's our own test, and it's to each individual. But we need this balance, because too much rational thinking or irrational or rational thinking, it turns you to false idol worship. It's to boast. It's no God. It's power stricken. Anything to anyone else but God. So see, like, even when we set out, even spiritual people that are would be totally positive, or spiritual people that are totally negative, they trip themselves up because they set out to do it for themselves, and they made theirself a God. They put theirself above anybody or anything on all levels and dimensions, above or below them, to exalt themselves. When we don't have this equality, we find out we get in trouble a lot, you guys, and it's just in modern everyday life that these things will happen and get to us. So see, we're held here by this cord, and you're putting positive and negatives in this bank like I talked about, okay? And you're storing, and that's your record. In between here is the 12 levels or dimensions. There's more, but you guys know what I'm saying. They're stacked in here, okay? I said 12 dimensions because I was thinking rounds. There's many dimensions because we're in here, and it's a vibration stored, okay? And I'll get through this in the next ones, and we'll keep going because I got some more stuff, and we'll talk about these next couple ones. This is the next thing I want to get to, is the spirits and how they're out there and how you're bringing them in, the offices of some of them and how they graduate. And we'll get to that one in the next one. I think just about all we got to talk about this guy here. And we'll only get to a little bit of it, and we'll finish him up on the second one. Okay, you guys, you got to understand we got soul, body, spirit, and mind. Some people confuse their soul with their spirit, and we use that together in harmony, but we use it also in our body and also in our minds. And you see, and this is kind of part of the balances of things that you need to begin to understand before you set out to do things. And especially in high knowledge and things out there, this is what we want to do, and we want to put it on the simplest form and make it monosophical to where it's understanding to where we can constantly remember to keep this balance. I love you guys very much, all of you, and I'll be back in a minute.